Let's take the opportunity to come back to our center by way of noticing our breathing. Simply noticing the natural patterns. Maybe bringing more depth to a deeper inhale into our lungs, deep into our lungs, and even further all the way down into the belly, all the way down the spine. Allowing the belly to rise. Exhale any tension that was being held down there, anywhere else. Maybe take the opportunity to do a few twists or neck rolls. Maybe a little head massage if you're feeling that. Break up your thoughts a little bit. Just noticing the patterns. Bringing some conscious awareness to the subconscious process. By practicing these bridging practices, that we strengthen our ability to tune into the wholeness that is holding us. Ourselves to come back to this practice, the smoother this experience can be. So I know many of us, myself included, have a tendency to hold on to tensions, to feelings and thoughts, to start to identify with them. Turn them into personality. So when we take time to engage and practice our presence practices, we can remember that personality is fluid, even elusive. And yet there's still some deep aspect of our identity, witnessing, noticing from a place of neutrality, watching the unfolding of our lives. This lucidity, watching the dream in the dream, aware of the dream. In addition to all the things, all the other things there is to be aware of in the dream. Taking the opportunity to bring in something that we feel thankful for. The most basic thing that we can tune into is gratitude of the breath, that we're still alive and breathing, here to be witnessing our lives and the time unfolding them. If you have anything else that you'd like to bring into your awareness that you feel grateful and thankful for having access to, for having awareness of. You can let that go. Seems like gratitude and compassion and forgiveness are some of the most potent keys for reminding ourselves that it's okay to be here, that it's right to be here, that there's wholeness here. So let's retain that awareness and bring that level of conscious witnessing into the rest of our day, the rest of our week, the rest of the next half of a calendar 6-month moon cycle, when we experience the bloom of what seeds are sown in this Cancer new moon. Are we still in Cancer? I hear that it's a particularly potent new moon this week because of axes bold as love and such like that. And the nodes be noding and Aries is plowing through and
as Aries does.
You know what I'm talking about? Alright, so neither of us know what we were talking about on that topic, so I'm popping in the edit to clarify that today is when the nodes are shifting. So today is July 17th, and the nodes are on a approximately 18-month cycle, so they are shifting today from, whatever it was, into Aries as the north node and Libra in the south node. So I'm not super well versed in this level of astrology, but I've recently been turned on to the idea of the nodes. And I understand that in someone's personal chart, your north node is essentially what we are growing into learning throughout this lifetime, and the south node is our comfort zone. So in the case of going into Aries and Libra, it's this dichotomy between serving the self and and breaking through the limitations and obstacles to getting what we need and or want, and that in opposition of Libra, which is more externally focused and more about creating balance in that certain way. So I heard that being aware of what house Aries rules in your chart is like the place in your life to maybe focus more attention into sowing seeds in that house. So you have your chart?
Pulling it up, yeah.
So your natal chart, and you just look to where Aries is in your wheel, and it is mostly your 6th house, but like pretty almost half and half, 7 and 6. I do not have the houses memorized.
Yeah, the houses is where I get really confused. And
So there's 12 houses, and each represents an aspect of life, you know? So for instance, the 6th house corresponding with health, wellness, daily routines, that type of thing. That's just the aspect of life
yeah.
that maybe this particular energy is moving through. And
I
if
see.
Aries is what's aligned with that, even though you don't have any planets in that house or in that sign, neither do I,
Yeah.
it's still sort of like, so you don't have extra charge in that house, but you still have that aspect of your life.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's ruled by Aries.
Okay.
Does that make any sense?
Sort of.
I don't know what ruled by, other than like that's the personality of that. I don't know. We got to get an actual astrologer on here to talk about that.
That would be cool.
Let's bookmark that.
Alright, yeah.
Talking about Selena or something.
That sounds good.
But that's the level of my understanding of the houses and stuff.
I see.
So for me, it was 7, which was like committed relationships and stuff like that and whatnot. And we both had some overlap, and or years of 7 too.
6 and 7,
6 and 7,
yeah.
Mine was 7 and 8. 8 is like death and taboo and sex and stuff like that.
Interesting. We'll have to see how the next 6 months plays out.
Well, I mean, what is your intuitive feeling or response to me mentioning health, wellness? Like, do you have certain intentions or goals in that particular house or aspect of your life?
Yeah.
And Aries, you know,
Yeah.
you know Aries to
Yeah.
a degree. Like, how would you describe that energy generally?
I mean, Aries to me feels like very persuasive and headstrong, head first, deep diving, just not committing, but really just like...
It is sort of committing in a certain sense.
Yeah, committing, but like not like really like intentionally committing or like strategically committing, just like diving head first and like, okay, cool, we're doing it now because we're here, sort of thing.
It's like that scene in Waking Life, like all action, no theory.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're all theory, no action.
Yeah, that's so true.
That's the quote. I'm not
Yeah,
actually roasting
right.
us, but there's the level of truth there for sure.
There's definitely truth
for me,
there.
absolutely. I think you're a little bit more action, less theory. I'm obviously mostly theory.
But I feel like I'm like I have to have all my ducks in a row. I have to have a full plan together. I've got to like feel like I've got control over it before I can start anything.
Yeah, we were talking about that even earlier today. It's like our almost polar opposite approaches in that way. Mm-hmm. That for me, like, I'd rather just be aware of one thing that needs to be done, one thing that I feel like I can accomplish, and do that.
Yeah.
Even though in many ways I am a very big picture person theoretically.
Sure.
When it comes to motivation and comes to what I feel motivated to act on, I feel like I need just a small bit of something that I know I can do confidently, or at least figure out
Right.
confidently without a huge time crunch.
I feel
very
that.
small time crunch, however you'd say that. Whereas for you, it's like, so the example was you're talking about, a project in the bathroom, and you're like, well, if we're going to do one thing, we might as well do all the things. I'm like, well, forget it.
Yeah.
I don't want to do all the things. I want to do maybe one thing.
Sure.
Because it feels overwhelming to me when I think of all the things, even though that is like how I understand why to do things.
Yeah.
It's also hard for me to want to do one thing if I don't understand how it works into the big picture.
Sure.
Which is where I do understand why would you do one part of a room if you're actually going to do maybe it different if you did it as a whole room project versus just one component of it.
Right. And I get overwhelmed too, but I feel like that it makes sense to have a chronological plan.
Yeah. Order
of attack. Yeah. Of operation. That sounds better. Yeah.
I mean, I agree with that.
But I agree. I get overwhelmed too. I think of all of the things that need to be done or that I want to do, and the things that need to be done to do the things that I want to do, and that just like gets completely totally overwhelming, and then just freeze up for another 6 months until there's some sort of impetus that you have to do something.
Another portal.
A portal, yeah.
Whether it be a catastrophic portal that could catalyze something has to happen, like something breaking.
Yeah. Right.
Like in the house, like we had to change out a part in the washer. We literally changed out 2 years ago.
Right. 3 years ago, but still. Yeah. But that also brought up that we didn't know how to properly take care of our things. And that if we had been properly taking care of it, we necessarily wouldn't have had to replace it again. Just, there's so many things that we aren't taught. I mean, no shade on parents for not teaching us, but like, we just don't know.
They didn't invent life.
Right. They for sure didn't invent front-loading washers.
Yeah. Wait, what?
I said they didn't invent front-loading washers.
They didn't invent greed or delusion or capitalism or
no
manifest destiny.
Yeah.
Our parents didn't. Someone's parents did. But I mean,
our
it's whatever.
ancestors' parents.
Our parents are just the people on the train, the cosmic train of DNA. They're just the people that are right in front of us.
Yeah.
They're one seat ahead of us.
Yeah.
Parents didn't start the ball of karma. I've no interest in blaming any individual for any
for sure
life circumstance. Even when people directly hurt me or people, I don't really believe that anyone's acting out of just straight malice and evil. I think people are confused.
Yeah.
And they're feeling unloved. It's really what it boils down to. Do you need to fix that?
There.
Just disconnection breeds illness. And illness breeds harm.
Yeah.
And pain and suffering. And those things breed spreading that like a bad idea.
Yeah, so how can we attempt to stay more connected throughout the day? I mean, it's connection to ourselves, really.
Throughout the day, yeah. I used to have a pattern that I would be like happy when the sun was out, and then it would be like this Jekyll and Hyde type thing, and then the sun would go down and I would just be like in deep self-sabotage and just like,
Right.
I think that's still present to a degree. I definitely feel more clear when the sun is out.
Yeah.
Which is kind of related to like the album I just pulled out, you know, Solati. Like I feel like that's like my sun self. And I also, as you know, started a project called Luna Lay, which was supposed to be like the sister to that album.
Yeah.
And that's been so much more difficult, as difficult as the 5-year process of Solati has been. Like Luna Lay has been, just because it's the darkness. It's like shining that moonlight onto like the shadow. Like there's some gross songs that I feel like I will probably end up just flushing or like refleshing or something. But I don't know, some of them aren't that pretty.
Yeah.
You know? I'm also just like, I haven't really been focusing on it. But
Yeah.
I think that it is like, I'm looking for a different word than proper. I do think it's proper to do a counterbalance to the super sunny, super bright. Oh my God.
Yeah.
You know? Because that's not all of life. That's only half of life.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that's, you know, the light is deeper than just a day.
Yeah.
The light's deeper than daylight, but,
Right.
you know, the shadow also deserves to be represented
Yeah.
and processed. And that's why it's been difficult, is that's been the shadow work album.
Yeah.
So it's harder work, you know?
Yeah.
Not that it isn't also hard work in a certain sense to like reach your sunny side too, you know? I mean, I've spent most of my life in my shadow, identifying with my shadow.
Yeah.
You know? So it did take a little bit of work to like decide I'm gonna make something that's actually like a pep talk from my soul to myself,
Yeah.
rather than just me venting my ego. You know?
Yeah.
When you vent your ego, it gives other egos something to relate to,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
But when you give yourself soul pep talks, it gives other souls something to relate to as well, so
Yeah.
to speak.
So to speak.
I don't know. I mean, meditation, setting alarms. Did you
Yeah.
set some angel number alarms?
I did not. I have not done that. Did you?
No.
I have
I don't
been
think I had the
noticing
intention.
a lot more angel numbers and times specifically.
It's actually chilled a little bit for me.
Really?
I mean, I've been seeing 555 a lot.
Yeah, that's one Michael saw yesterday too. That
really?
he saw 555 like right before he saw us, and then he's like, "Hey, I saw your guys' video where you were talking about seeing numbers on the clock. I saw 555. What's that mean?" I was
What did you
like,
tell him?
I told him he's on the right path. Yeah.
I would usually relate to 555 as like, all right, it's time to change. It's time to create some change. Time to create some change.
So
Or life will create it for you.
you see 555 and you think to yourself, all right, it's time to create some change. What kind of change can you create right then, right there?
Change whatever like thought program or train of thought I was on. Timeline jump.
Yeah.
Stop thinking, noticing the thinking. Stop thinking, comma, notice it. You know, like 4 is an easy numerological symbol to remember. 4 stable like a table, you know?
Yeah.
4 legs on a table. 5, you got a 5th leg, what are you going to do with that? You know?
Yeah.
It creates a new structure. It
Yeah.
creates a little bit of an imbalance. It's a, like, sort of transitional number to me.
Okay. I like that.
There's also like a Christ consciousness association with it. I'm not sure what the origin of that is, but I've heard that as well. 555 being like Christ consciousness.
What does Christ consciousness mean to you?
The consciousness of being one in Christ. To me, Christ is, I think it's Greek for the light, or that's its origin. See, Christ is like just another word for the Buddha, you know? Buddha, not the Buddha, Buddha. Buddhahood, you know? Buddha is, I think Sanskrit breaks down to awakened one. And the awakened one is one.
One.
You don't have an awakened you that's separate than the awakened me. You know? That's what Namaste is. It's that we recognize we're both Buddha, we're both Christ.
Yeah, right.
You know, we're all Christ, we're all Buddha. That's the real us.
Gotcha.
So that's Christ consciousness. You know?
I see.
I think Christ has a little bit more of a like passionate, which is to say bodily, like compassion for the suffering of earth. Christ is a little bit more, at least like the Jesus archetype, the Jesus incarnation of Christ, if you will. Feels like it's a little bit more about service.
Yeah.
It's an active compassion in the sense of like suffering with others, suffering with the earth and the earth dwellers, whereas like Buddha compassion to me feels a little bit more almost disassociated.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like you have a deep, deep compassion for all suffering to the point where you may or may not feel moved to even do much physically about it.
Yeah.
You know, like of course, like if you have true compassion in your heart, you are going to act with more loving kindness towards other sentient beings, you know. But that's my perspective of it.
Gotcha.
Ultimately, and you know, whatever. They're all just Venn diagrams of the same stuff, you know. So Christ consciousness, you know, just being of service to the self. The real self, not the ego, not service to the ego, service to the self.
Right.
The self is Christ, the self is Buddha, the self is our highest nature.
Right.
You know.
So then that transitional nudge there from the angels at 555, it could be like, how can I be of service to myself right now? You know, what do I need?
Self.
To the self, right. And
which maybe means stop serving my ego so much. That's not, you know, but
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's a valid question. I'm just pointing out like the difference because we use those words in very different ways. Most people would say self and they mean their ego.
yeah.
I'm using self in like a capital S self.
Right.
So we probably should come up with a different word. You know,
Word. Yeah.
when we create our new language. Keep that in mind.
Yeah. English is so limiting.
Limiting and scattering. Are you looking for Bella?
Just looking.
For Bella?
Yeah. See if she wanted to come in.
She'll call us. She's ready.
I think that more than daily reminders being helpful, like having set myself up ahead of time to like if I have like a rough outline of the things that I want to do in a week, like even past like being like productive, could help with transitions. Like, oh, I've got this chunk of time, I could sit here and stare at my phone,
Yeah.
or like, oh yeah, those are things that I wanted to do. I could do something like that instead. Just change habits out.
I just had a idea. What if we changed the wallpaper on our phone to like our to-do list for the week? Or like the things that we could be doing.
Sure, I don't hate that.
It was a random idea.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it'd be front and center. I just wonder how long it would be before it just became scenery. Yeah.
It's like the opposite of out of mind, out of sight, out of mind. You know?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, but it's
Yeah.
also still there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, totally.
And it's also, it wouldn't be anything pretty to look at. So it'd be like, you get on your phone, you see that, you know,
Yeah.
right behind the time, you have a list of the things you wanted to accomplish.
That's
Probably worth trying out.
Yeah, I like it.
So what do you want to feel this week?
What do I want to feel? So I want to keep feeling energized. I want to keep feeling like I have the energy to do the things that I want to do. Not like I have to like talk myself into it or like force myself to do things just because I'm out of energy, or like I'm saving it up for something. I don't know, I feel like I have the tendency to do that. Like, oh, I can't do anything tonight because I'm doing things tomorrow, so like I better save that energy up. I don't know that it actually works that way.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I've got a lot of plans this weekend. That means I can't do anything until then. Or, oh, I don't have anything to do until 5 o'clock. That means I can't do anything until 5 o'clock. That like paralysis of like being afraid of running out by the time it gets to the thing.
Yeah, I mean, I have that definitely on like show days, especially if I have multiple things going on in one day, you know?
Yeah.
Like, what was it, Wednesday? I busked from 11 to 1, then did the market from 4 to 7,
Yeah.
and then went to Ryan's and played from about 8, sporadically from 8 to 11 or 8 to midnight or whatever.
That's a big
And
day.
I was real warmed up. Like,
Yeah.
I had some of my, honestly, we played some of our best versions of, like, the Wu Wei Sola medley. We took that to an entirely different space. It was really, that's where I got the idea of doing the Billie Jean tease.
Okay.
Because we were doing a really funky version of Sola.
Yeah.
And I just threw it in.
Yeah.
Because I was feeling it.
Totally.
Alex heard it. He
Teases
brought
are
it up to
fun.
me yesterday. He was like, I heard that Billie Jean tease.
Yeah.
It's like, thank you.
Oh, I'm glad he did. I didn't notice.
You would have if you were paying attention.
Sure. Yeah.
You know? Couldn't miss it if you were like, if we had a dance party going,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, totally.
You wouldn't miss that stuff,
Yeah.
you know.
Right.
So you want to feel energized?
I do. I want to feel energized, and I just like want to feel generally like on top of my shit. Like I've got a handle on it. Like I don't want to like necessarily like feel in control, but like I want to feel like I want to feel confident that I have a handle on my affairs. Like just. I want to feel like I'm bringing my best self to the things that I do.
So what can you do to encourage feeling that way? Facilitate that.
I think I could just make sure that I'm taking care of myself, make sure I'm drinking enough water, make sure that I'm, rested and...
So I'm asking this because, like, this is, like, I think it was Amy Spicer on Justice podcast years ago. So that she sees it as, like, a, I don't really resonate with this language, but, like, a 60 way of doing to-do lists. Instead of doing to-do lists, doing how do you want to feel.
Right.
And if you really get real about what you want to feel like. Do you want to feel rested this week or do you want to feel productive? Like those are very different things, you know?
Yeah.
So if you actually want to feel rested, but you make a bunch of to-dos that are active and productive, it's like,
yeah,
racing against the current
right
of your natural flow that particular time.
Right. I guess I want to feel balanced. I want to feel like I have a balance between being rested and productive and connected and social, and I want to maybe wanting all the things isn't realistic.
I mean, I wasn't saying that you got to pick one or the other. I was just trying to illustrate why I was asking that question.
Right.
Because basically, if you identify how you want to feel, so you want to feel these 5 things. So, like, I'll do it for myself. This week, I want to feel like I'm investing in my most fulfilling timeline. And so then there's things that, okay, well, what would I need to do to feel that way? Yeah. And then you break it down into the more practical, okay, what is the actual to-do list based on doing these things are going to lead me to feeling this way.
Right. So you start with the big picture, and then you start breaking
with your
it
feelings,
down.
And then you get into the actions.
I see.
Because a lot of what we want is we really want to feel a certain way. Like you may think that you want ice cream, but really you want to feel connected to your parents, or that life is sweet.
Yeah.
Or you want to feel flow, or you want to forget your problems, or, you know. For instance.
Or maybe you just want to enjoy an indulgent, creamy, sweet treat while you sit outside and...
Yeah, but what's the feeling of that? The feeling is what?
I think the feeling is just pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we only want to feel pleasure when we haven't had enough of it. Because pleasure all the time wouldn't be that pleasurable, you know?
Yeah.
It could be overstimulating.
It can, yeah, absolutely. You know. Yeah.
Okay, so what are some goals, some feelings, or actions that you want to shoot for this week? And then the next time we make a check-in, we can talk about our progress.
Our progress. How about you start?
Well, I have started a handful of conversations about getting more people on the podcast, so I think that I'm going to probably do at least 1 or 2 this week. Got hopefully Wes is coming by this week.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
So that'd be good. It's a connection, you know? Engaging and connection and actively engaging the community, you know? Which is one of those things that we both have a tendency of telling ourselves that social interactions are going to be draining for us.
Yeah.
And it really is about the quality of the interaction. It's not interacting that's draining. It's interacting with draining energy that's draining.
Yeah. I do agree with that to a certain
I mean, of course
degree.
we have physical energy levels that are, you know, not infinite. You could be, you know, hanging out with your soulmate and be tired. And then it becomes overstimulating or, you know, whatever. It's going to wind down at a natural, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's still, if we're not seeing our soul family for weeks on end, months on end, years on end, you know, then it's energizing to engage in those connections.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I just, a lot of times I hesitate to, like, put myself into social interactions when I'm not feeling my best self because I don't want to, like, put that on anybody else. I don't know. There's been, you know, like...
I have that too, but it's self-sabotage.
It is self-sabotage, and I think
it really
it's
is.
Also, like...
For me.
Yeah.
It has been so many times. So many times. I'm not trying to derail your train of thought.
I was just thinking, like, how many times I got, like, sent to my room as a kid because, like, I wasn't being pleasant or, like, I wasn't being, you know, it's like go into your room until you can be pleasant to be around, until you can like not bring your emotions into this, and which I think is like
toxic.
Yeah, but at the same time, like I think it is important to learn to not throw your own stuff onto other people.
That's not the way of learning it. I'm sorry for being
I agree,
blunt,
but yeah,
I agree with you, but that's definitely not the way a person learns that. You learn that by, I'm speaking as if I know, but I don't know what I was going to say because I don't actually know. Can I hit that water?
Yeah. Just, yeah. I mean, I never want to like bring down the vibes too, like of a high vibing group. And if I'm just like womp womp in a corner, like I should have just stayed home at that point.
Yeah. I think you learn that by only through learning how to meet your needs and learning how to regulate your nervous system.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a literal child and your nervous system is out of whack and you're acting a fool, bringing people down, and you're just like sent off to your room, that's just that's on a subconscious level showing the nervous system, the child, the person, that they are not welcome in the community if they are feeling bad, which is a recipe for illness and isolation.
Yeah.
And shadow and all the terrible things. I mean, I think most of us have had that program. You know, I was just expressing that to you a minute ago, you know? I mean, you said something that triggered me. That was a reflection of me that I've been aware of, but I don't think a lot of people have said to me. And it's one of those things. It's just, you know, and I get triggered, and then I just turn it into like a child version of myself. And and at least I had like the wisdom to separate you from me, you know, so that I wasn't making it your problem and projecting onto you. And
yeah, which is super admirable, because I can't say that I would have done the same thing.
But at the same point, as soon as you left, I felt, you know, a wave of abandonment and like the remembrance of what it felt like to be alone in my room and as a child and have to cry it out, or like, you know, whatever it was. And I think for me, it was just stuffing it down into a grudge. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I have memories of being a child and expecting that if I throw this crying fit long enough in my room, someone's going to come get me. And I remember sometimes that it took a long time, and it was really frustrating, you know. And eventually it probably was just like, all right, I'm bored. You know, there's probably that day where no one did come.
Right.
And it was just like, did I genuinely grow through that emotionally? Did I become emotionally more intelligent in that? Mark me down for fuck no. You stuff that down and it becomes a grudge.
Yeah. Right. That builds
those
resentment.
grudges don't disappear unless you disappear them by shining light on them. That's how shadows disappear.
Yeah.
And if you don't look at them, they're still there, festering.
Yeah.
And it was definitely a I was tempted to spiral for sure, and just like be depressed and shitty and questioning why I do anything, you know, why were we excited about, you know, talking into mics and recording ourselves being ourselves, you know, like why do that? Which I guess is like the main thing I like to talk about on the podcast is like why podcast? This is ridiculous. Why am I like this? You know?
Yeah.
'Cause I think it deserves representation. You know, we represent so much nonsense. Like, let's represent this nonsense.
Yeah.
You know, let's make some sense of the non. It's non-negotiable. Just do it.
Yeah.
And to your point of our conversation before we started recording, you know, it's like, well, so we weren't planning on doing this. We went for a hike, and I have another episode that I'm editing, and I wasn't really sure if I was gonna fully edit that today to try to get this out for trying to stick to a Monday schedule, and so you suggested that we just do like a Sunday meditation check-in and get some goals for the week and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
I was excited by that idea and also relieved because that feels easier than trying to edit a bigger conversation, yeah.
Right.
And then we were talking about, like, do we actually want to do this? Like, does it actually feel in the vibe, or are we just, like, feeling obligated, or, like, we said we were going to do it, so let's do it. But you were saying that, you know, that there is something to be said for setting these arbitrary boundaries. The other use of that word that I use.
Deadlines.
Arbitrary deadlines.
Yes.
So it's a practice of discipline.
Yeah, it builds discipline.
Jeez, that took a while to say. That's how resistant I am to being disciplined. But you know, that's my North Node, and I think the nodes had something to do with what's happening tomorrow.
It's the nodes.
My North Node is Capricorn, which is like all about like finding joyous discipline, as Lucinda would put it.
Yeah, joyous discipline. That's so hard.
Is it? I mean,
yeah,
it is. It's not
is.
natural for me. I think it's more natural for you.
Yeah, but I still resist it.
Do you?
I do.
I guess, yeah,
I resist
in
discipline
what ways
quite
do
a
you
bit.
discipline? In what ways do you resist it? And in what ways does it come more naturally to you?
I think it comes more naturally to me, like at work, and like with the things that feel necessary for my survival, like.
So when there's accountability to the extent of, if you don't do this, you will get fired. And if you do this, we will give you imaginary points that you can pay your bills with.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And then the other one is when there's a, survival need?
Right. Or like a comfortable survival need. Like,
what was the second example?
I didn't really give a specific example, but just like.
I mean, what was the second thing you said?
Like survival needs. That
you did?
Yeah, I did, yeah. I think. Roll back the tape.
Minutes.
Yeah. Siri, what'd I say? No, I'm pretty sure that's what I said, but I just mean like stupid things like doing the dishes, and like I'm more disciplined about. Maybe other people would disagree, but I'm at least a little bit more disciplined than I have been in the past about like keeping up on like laundry and dishes and stuff, so that I'm not like completely overwhelmed and that things become a crisis.
It's quality of life.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
But you had to learn that you had that
Yeah.
standard of your quality of life.
Totally.
Because when, I guess your mom didn't do your laundry when you were like a teenager even, right?
She did sometimes. She would like ask. I think she preferred to do my laundry because she didn't want to like waste water and stuff. She wanted to make sure that there were like full loads happening. She didn't always have full loads of like just her and my dad's stuff. So she would like ask for things to put in. But like usually I did that for myself. Yeah.
Yeah, my mom would not let anyone else do the laundry, which like breeds whatever insane thing I have, that I don't have this basic skill of knowing how to properly fold laundry,
Yeah, that drives me crazy.
which you call weaponized incompetence. Thanks, internet. Not what I do. I mean,
Okay, sometimes,
I guess, and to a
sometimes
level.
you will lock eyes with me and just roll a shirt
Okay,
around
that's just
and then
for
throw
comedic
it.
effect.
But if I
That's
didn't
not
say
me.
anything, you would totally leave it like that.
No, I wouldn't. I might, because I have a pretty low standard when it comes to laundry.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different rabbit hole of my personal problems of just not attending to that type of thing.
Yeah.
Look at me. Everyone knows. We've talked about it before, my lack of attention to image and stuff like that. Historically speaking. So it doesn't feel like a class thing that if I don't iron my shirts that I'm a lesser human or something like that.
Does anybody iron anymore? I have literally never touched an iron.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a somewhat outdated example, but I think it paints the picture.
I'll use a straightening iron, like my hair. If my shirt's like really wrinkled, I'll just throw my straightening iron down.
And there you go.
Yeah, we definitely don't own an iron or an ironing board.
Yeah, I remember when I went to college, I got one because I thought that was part of the starter pack of all right, I'm doing it. I'm being an adult now.
Did you ever use it? No.
I moved it from a couple apartments. I might have used it once or something.
That's so funny. My dad, for my mom and dad's first Christmas married, my dad got my mom an iron and an ironing board.
Let's keep the stories fun and funny.
Yeah. It didn't go over well.
Oh, really?
No, it did not.
Oh, that's hilarious. I thought that was just... Yeah, I didn't know that's what you were saying.
No, it wasn't. It was not. Yeah.
That's
Taken
funny.
well.
That's funny. Did she make a big deal out of it, or...
I mean,
How do you even know
I wasn't
this? It
around.
must
She
have
told
been-
me about it at some point.
She
That's
said it
just not
didn't
a
go
great
over
gift
well.
giver. That's probably what
Hey,
brought it up.
it's not everyone's love
No,
language.
it's not. And he doesn't like to receive gifts much either. So it's
I'm
just,
gonna be honest.
yeah.
I used to have a little bit of a feeling that gift giving as a love language, as one of your top love languages. That's sort of superficial, a little bit.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about it the other day, and I get it, because it shows that you thought about someone and you thought this was something that could help them,
Yeah.
or that they would enjoy, beyond the moment that we're sharing together,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It shows that you're thinking about somebody even when you're not sharing physical space.
Yeah.
And that's a sweet thing.
And that your love is present beyond
Yeah.
the physical quality time that you're spending,
Yeah.
Just one of my top love languages, spending time, quality time, not just shitty time.
Yeah. Same.
Gotta be quality.
It's got to be quality. Good quality. Because there's all kinds of quality.
What would you say your top love languages are? Other than pampering and back rubs or back scratches. Is that number
What
one?
love
or-
language I like to receive?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think of love languages too. It's how you express.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good
Yeah.
distinction. They can
So-
be different for sure.
I mean, I definitely express love through acts of service. And
Oh, that's what you express.
that's how I express. I mean, I also like to receive acts of service as well. But the control freak in me prefers to do the acts of service.
And the people pleaser.
And the people pleaser, yeah. But also, quality time's a big one. And expressing, I like to give gifts.
Really? I mean, yeah, I know. So
Yeah, you know that about me. Yeah.
We haven't really given each other gifts too much. That's why it's not really on my radar.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but I don't necessarily feel like we have to do that. I mean, I like to like think of things to give, family
Yeah.
on Christmas
No,
and birthdays and
yeah,
stuff.
I
like,
know that about you
yeah.
for sure. Yeah, it's just not the way we interact, so it wasn't
No.
the first thing I would think of. But what about receiving? What would be your top?
Receiving.
Still acts.
Yeah, acts of service, quality time, and what are the other ones?
Okay, so we're going into this. So I just assume everyone's familiar at this point. Acts of service, quality time, gift giving. Those are the ones we've already mentioned.
Words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation.
It's the fifth one I always forget about. Physical
chocolate.
touch.
Oh, yeah.
Chocolate.
Physical touch. Duh. Yeah.
And physical touch is like your top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, probably quality time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is the more comfort zone one, but I think physical touch is a shame that's become such a cultural taboo. And people probably like the first time you hear the love languages, you're like, oh, physical touch, that must mean sex. Mm-hmm. That's not the whole umbrella of physical affection. Reiki is massage.
Yeah.
Just whatever.
that's
It's just
nice,
like we're here
Yeah.
together. Like our cells want to communicate.
Yeah.
Hugs are a real form of communication. Like
Totally.
literally our heart chakras are connecting, when done right.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's communication without words.
Yeah.
It feels like a deeper communication to me in that way.
Yeah, I like that.
So yeah, I would say that's probably my top two. I don't have much of a difference in the way that I see giving or receiving the love languages. I think they're pretty
Yeah.
two-way streets for me.
Yeah. I think for the most part, me too. Though I would rather give a gift than receive a gift. Mostly just because, like...
I'd probably rather receive a gift than give a gift.
Yeah. It's
and
hard,
you know why?
though.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I won't forget. Go ahead.
Okay. I think this goes along with, like, my most uncomfortable ones. Like, my most uncomfortable one is words of affirmation. That I am most uncomfortable, mostly spoken, like written. I'm cool with that. I like written words of affirmation, and I like to write words of affirmation to people. But spoken makes me very uncomfortable. And I think...
To receive or to give?
Both. When I give it, I give kind of... I mean, I have a hard... I get a little bit flustered, and I have a hard time, like, actually, like, speaking the things that I think or feel. Especially if it's, like, a group setting sort of thing.
Yeah.
And, I mean, same with receiving. Like, it just makes me very uncomfortable to, like, be perceived by another person.
To be perceived and like affirmed and like
it's and
way.
to
It's
be
almost,
seen like that's a lot. It can be a lot.
Yeah. Do you feel like like one of those like self-checkout registers if someone's like feeding $1 in as the form of a compliment and you're just like you spit it right back out, like you better fold that one up a little tighter.
Yeah.
Hang on to that one, that's for someone else. I just shamelessly steal jokes from the internet
Totally.
to use on the podcast now.
Yeah. I mean, like little compliments from like a stranger or something like that I can receive pretty well. I can say, thank you and move on.
Really?
But like somebody in my life that like wants to like sit down and really see me, like, or if I'm not expecting it, like that it can really throw me off. And not that it's not welcome and it's not that it's not appreciated. I do appreciate it. And like, but it's just like really overwhelming.
I understand.
Yeah.
I feel similarly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I feel like just gifts kind of can be like that too, where like I feel sometimes I feel put on the spot. And
Oh,
and
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
which I know
Do you
a lot of
remember
people
how
relate
much
to.
overwhelm I had in the day leading up to Christmas this last year?
Yeah.
Like I was damn near a panic attack. Like, never have panic attacks.
Yeah.
You know? It's just like, because it's a love language that I just, and this is what I was going to say, is that the reason why it's so hard for me is because I'm not coming at the angle that, I'm so present and grounded and centered in my own present moment all the time. I'm way too zen to think about other people and what other people need in their lives. But like, it feels like more of like an obligatory like homework assignment to like think and intellectualize about someone else's life, what they need, and a lot of times it just brings up like how little I know about my family and how little time I like spend with them. Not that I spend no time with my family, but you know what I mean? Like, it just, I don't, it was different when we were kids and we lived in the same house together, and it was like, I know, like, my brother just bought this game. I'll grab him the instruction manual or the walkthrough guide or whatever.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right,
like stuff like that. Or like my mom, I know she's been talking about not having that thing she needs. Let me grab that. You know what I mean? But when I don't spend mundane moments with people, I don't know what they need in the mundane.
Yeah.
And then everything else just feels like me trying to like impose my weird lifestyle or perspective onto, like I used to think of it as like, I would give them like a bridge to something that I appreciate. But I feel like I just don't feel like people have appreciated that. And then I just don't want to do that anymore. Because it doesn't feel like it's received. You know, like for me, music is like a huge portal for me. So I like to share music with people.
Yeah.
But that doesn't feel like it's really received unless it's someone that's like super loves you and super wants to know more about your internal life and connect with you in those ways, but like most people are just in their own track. They don't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're all we have our own, we're all in our own Truman Show at this point. You know what I mean? Like people aren't, for better or worse, I just feel like people don't think about it that way.
Yeah.
You don't think about like, Sean sent me a song. This is like an opportunity to like connect with him in a moment of like, we're both experiencing this song. And then when you really, obviously, whatever speaks to you.
Right.
But like, if you listen, you don't know if it's going to speak to you if you don't listen.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe I've just felt rejected in the gift giving, and I feel burnt out on it. And then I feel way in the spotlight opening a gift in front of a group.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm just not a very excitable person about stuff like that, and I just feel like you kind of gotta like sort of like pump it up a little bit. And that's one of those things. If I'm not feeling actually in a good mood, the last thing I want to do is go to a holiday party or a family get together or something like that. You know what I mean? Because I especially with family, I feel like I don't shake off the bad mood that I'm in, and that's unfair.
Yeah.
But again, it comes back to, but I can't have a skill that I've never been exposed to or never learned, namely self-regulation, regulating your nervous system, like knowing how, having the emotional intelligence to know how to shift emotionally, I've been coming back to that. Like I had this super vivid or long dream last week that I told you about, and one of the takeaways from it when I decoded it was that I need to find ways of nurturing my Scorpio moon, which is generally a pretty brooding, like overwhelmingly deep well of hopefully not stagnant water. If you keep it flowing, you're fucking vast.
Yeah.
But if you keep it stagnant, you're vast.
Yeah, that just came up today. The Scorpio moon thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I was sort of referencing that because I was thinking about that in that way. So that's something that like came up in an insight through the dream work, but I haven't sat down to figure out what that actually would look like.
Right. Yeah.
So that's something for this week, is looking into that.
Oh, yeah.
Getting to know my Scorpio moon. I think both of us maybe taking deeper stock into our Aries houses for the new moon tomorrow. And
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
do you have anything else you want to set your sights for?
I was gonna make those wellness shots that we were preparing for, and I just remembered that we forgot to get ginger.
We don't have any?
No, and you need like a lot. So.
Sorry, we need to do a Kroger anyway.
Yeah. We need peanut butter.
But yeah, so just to wrap up, summarize my goals for this week.
Yes.
This is another thing I feel almost burnt out about, but like I'm just trying to like pick one thing, you know, because I've tried to do these like new moon, set your intentions, manifest your dream, bro. You know, and who's to say that I haven't been successful, because, you know, things grow in their own time. And I certainly have seen shifts and beautiful things in my life bloom, and, you know, even the way that our relationship budded and sprouted and is doing its thing, and the way we found this house, and the way Bella came to me and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, of course there's been, like, you know, things like that. But I also have, like, tried to, like, drastically change my life and flush my addictions in a new moon ceremony and stuff like that. And, like, that's a tall order.
That is. Yeah.
You know? So I've kind of a little burnt out on that, too. And I'm just thinking now, like, oh, yeah, I would like to, like, I mean, this thing's cool. Like, maybe I should meditate every day. You know? But another thing that came up in the dream was the 100th reminder and affirmation to solidify my morning routine.
Yeah.
Which I have gotten back into a little bit more, like the gratitude journal and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think keeping up the morning routine, doing some shadow work, finding out about my
Scorpio moon.
You know, getting back on the game that we talked about in the last episode.
Yep.
Then maybe we'll do like an actual episode to really dive into that, fully explain it.
Yeah.
Rather than your brilliant, super clear explanation followed by my rambling, shall we say.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, just trying to do more podcasting and socializing. And
Yeah.
I want to strategize about getting the word out about the new album and having maybe a content creation day.
I think that's
so
a
I
fucking
don't
great
feel
idea.
like I'm like cramming one in like every day or like whenever I can.
Yeah.
Like being more intentional.
Or like, what about like a content planning day and then a content creation day? Like where you like brainstorm like 10 ideas or something, and then you can like on creation day you like whittle it down to like the ideas that you're excited about.
Yeah, that's an idea.
So my goals for the week are wellness shots.
What are those?
Huh?
What are those in short?
It's a fruit juice with like vitamins and things in it that, you know, help propel you on your day. So you just take it like a shot in the morning and
In the morning.
yeah. Yeah.
And it's just like
pineapple, lime, and ginger. And we got this collagen super green concoction. Spirulina, chlorella, fermented greens.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, remember?
One,
yeah.
Yeah, so that'd be good.
Blend it all up.
Probiotics and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds clutch.
Yeah. Yeah, so supporting the physical health to be able to have the confidence to move through the world.
The physical energy to harness the emotional energy.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we're trying to see some friends tomorrow and probably see my family this weekend, and yeah, just making sure that I'm prepared for those events and I can bring my best self to them.
When we were on the hike, we started to talk about different loops that we find ourselves in.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be good for us to choose a day to have a check-in.
Yeah.
With that being the main topic.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Wednesday.
Do you want to have a holy moment?
Okay, let's have a holy moment.
You can break it. You can do the honors.
Okay. Yeah, there's layers to it.
Yeah, my layer was that I didn't turn my body completely to face you. Not that we discussed that we should be totally facing each other and locking eye contact. But I figured that that'd be more holy than looking at my guitar cases.
Right. Or making eye contact directly into the camera.
Oh my God.
Let's have a holy moment.
That would be hilarious. We can do that next time.